All right, first thing we do on the in-cab inspection is we want to inspect our seat belt. So we're gonna make sure it's securely mounted, it's not cut, torn, frayed, or missing. My anchor points on the top, down here on the bottom are properly secured, and the seat belt will fasten and release properly.
Good.
All right, for a safe start, we're going to depress the clutch, cover the brake pedal, make sure the shifter is in neutral. We're going to turn the key to the on position. When I turn it on, I'm going to check that my ABS light and DEF lights cycle through. And there they're on. And now they have gone out. So now I'm ready to do my safe start. Once I start the truck, I'm going to ensure that I have oil pressure within the first 10 seconds. I'm going to ease off the clutch. Now it's started. Watching my oil pressure. And I have oil pressure. Now I'll check the rest of my gauges, starting with my water temperature. It is reading about 175. Normal operating range is 170 to 210. Volts should be between 12 to 15 volts. I've got about 14 volts. My primary and secondary air gauge, supply gauge, I'm reading about 125 psi. The governor cuts in at 100, cuts out at 125. I have a full tank of DEF fluid. I need a minimum of 1/8 of a tank. I have a full tank of diesel fuel. I'm going to turn on my lights now so I can check all my dash indicator lights, make sure they're working properly. I'm going to start with my high beam indicator, which is working. I'll check my left signal, check my right signal, and I'll check my four-way flashers. Done with those, I'll turn the lights off. I don't need those. Next, I'll check my city horn and my air horn. From there, I'm going to check my side mirrors, making sure they're securely mounted. They're not cracked, broken, or missing. They're clean and properly adjusted. Then I'll come to the windshield, inspect the windshield, ensure that it's securely mounted, not cracked, broken, or missing. No cracks bigger than 4 inches, no dings bigger than a dime. There's no illegal stickers and nothing obstructing my view. Secondly, I'm going to check the windshield wipers and washer fluid. Make sure they operate properly, and they do. They're not cracked, broken, or missing. The wipers aren't cut, torn, frayed, or missing. We got good tension on the windshield. Last, I'll check my defrost and heater. Make sure they're working properly. So defrost and my heat. All right. Now I'm going to check my parking brakes, starting with my parking brake on the tractor. To test this, I'm going to put it in low. I'm going to lift up on the clutch just to the friction point, and I'll see a slight rise in the mirrors to ensure the parking brake is holding on the tractor. There's that slight rise. I'll now set the trailer parking brake, release the tractor. I'll repeat the same step. Come slightly off the clutch until I get to the friction point. See a slight rise in the mirrors. And the trailer parking brake is holding. Now I'm going to release the trailer parking brake. I'm going to hold the service brake so I don't roll backwards. Now I'm going to test my service brakes by rolling forward up to 5 miles per hour. I'll have my hands at 9 and 3 gently. And as I apply the brakes, I'm going to make sure the brakes don't pull to one side or the other. And I'll do this in first gear. Coming off the clutch, rolling forward, clutch in, apply the brakes. And they held. Didn't pull one way or the other. I'm going to do the same thing now, and I'll test the trailer trailer service brakes up to 5 miles an hour. Clutch in, and they work. Now I'm going to put it in neutral and look for level ground. If I can't find level ground, I'm going to chalk my wheels. Turn the wheel here to help. And we have level ground. So we're setting up for a 3-step air brake test. We've got the vehicle in neutral, brakes are released. I'm going to crack the windows and ensure I've got 125 pounds of air pressure, which is just about there. I have all my interior stuff turned off so I can listen for air leaks. Okay, there we we go. So we have 125 psi. I'll shut the truck off. With my hand still on the key, I will return the key to the on position without starting the truck. So for the 3-step, in step number 1, I'm going to apply 75 to 90 pounds of foot pressure on the service brake. When I do, I'll have an initial air loss on the supply gauge. Once that is settled, I'm going to time for 1 minute that I don't lose more than 4 psi in that 1 minute. So there goes my pressure. Gauge is settling, and it's stopped. I am starting my timer. So it's important you don't fluctuate the pedal. You will lose air pressure. Again, with the windows down and everything turned off, I can listen for air leaks either inside or outside the cab. We're still holding pressure. Coming up on 30 seconds. There you go, 30 seconds. So we're halfway there. We're still holding pressure. We see and hear no air leaks. Fifteen more seconds. There we go, minutes up. So that's step 1. Step 2, I am now going to fan the service brakes repeatedly until I see and hear my low air warning light up on the dash, and that should come on no later than 55 psi. Okay, and that came on right around 65-70 psi. The last step, step 3, we will continue to fan the brakes until our spring brakes pop out. The buttons down here pop out between 20 and 45 psi. There we go. That happened about 35 psi. So now that's done, the 3-step is done. We're going to start the truck and build our air pressure back up. Clutch in, covering the brake. Again, we're in neutral. I'm going to watch for oil pressure when I start in that first 10 seconds. And I have oil pressure. So at this point, this is where you can ask the examiner to step out of the vehicle and assist you with inspecting our exterior lights. So once he gets out there, we'll have him start with our overhead clearance lights. So I'm pointing to the overhead clearance lights so he knows what I want him to inspect and give me a thumbs up. Next, I'm going to have him check my high beams. So I can turn on my high beams, he gives me a thumbs up. Tell him low beams, he gives me a thumbs up. Left signal, he gives me a thumbs up. Right signal, gives me a thumbs up. Lastly, I'll have him check my 4-way flasher indicators. Gives me a thumbs up. Now he'll go to the back. When he gets to the back, he'll inspect the 4-way flashers. Once he gives me a thumbs up, I can turn those off. And do the left signal once again. He'll give me a thumbs up. Right signal, he'll give me a thumbs up. And lastly, we'll have him check the parking brakes. So we'll hold it for a couple seconds. You can see the parking light, brake lights come on. Brake lights work, thumbs up. As he returns into the cab, gets in the cab, I can at that point say that concludes my pre-trip inspection.